Hello dear friend, in this video we are going to talk about the different sun and moon combinations and how we can interpret them. First of all, we need to remember that the sun and the moon are the two most important planets in astrology, and we also need to know that they affect each other. So we should never analyze only one of them without paying attention to the other. And if you don't know your moon sign or something else about your chart, you are welcome to use my birth chart calculator. The link is below. Definitely go check it out. You will also find a free webinar. So let's talk about why the sun and the moon are so important. First of all, the sun represents our core identity. It shows who we are deep inside. It's our true self. On the other side, the moon represents how we express ourselves in the outer world. It's about our connection with the closest environment and generally how we present ourselves. And those are two different things. One thing is who you are deep inside, what's your true identity. That's what the sun represents. And the other thing is your behavior and how you express everything that you are going through, your whole identity as well. So the sun and the moon are very important for every person. And if you are able to see how the different combinations work together, your interpretation will be much more accurate. Also, keep in mind that the moon is especially important for women, for children, and also for people who are born during the night. If your sun is in the lower part of the horoscope, between 1st and 6th house, it means you are born during the night. In this case, the moon can be even more important than for other people. So let's try to understand also how the different combinations may work. One case would be when the sun and the moon are in the same element. This would make things much easier and much more balanced. It means that whatever is inside of the person, basically that's what's expressed outside. If we have someone with fire sun and a fire moon, then inside they are very passionate, they're very enthusiastic, they are very vital, and most likely their expression will be the same. They will demonstrate all of that, they will be open, they will be kind of showing all of that to the outer world. That's very typical for a fire sun and fire moon combination. But if we have someone with a fire sun, but let's say an earth moon, then this is a much more difficult and much different combination. Again, inside the core of this person is the fire sun. So he can be passionate, he can be enthusiastic, he may even want to take risks, all of the typical fire qualities. But how he will express this is something completely different. Because the earth moon is working like a brake. It decreases the expression. It brings some kind of barriers. It makes things much more controlled, and overall the behavior of the person is much more cautious. And this is the difference between having the sun and the moon in the same sign or element basically, or having them in different combinations. When there is a different combination, it means that the core is one thing, the essence of the person is one thing, but how he expresses this and how he behaves is something different. And here there is a major difference. There are people who deep inside, or their core is very passionate or very emotional or very sensitive, but it's not necessarily demonstrated outside. This would be a case when, let's say, the sun is in a water sign and the moon is in an earth sign. So deep inside, the core is the water element, but how is this demonstrated? This is the way that the moon in earth sign would make it. And there is the opposite variation in which the sun might be, let's say, in an earth sign, which means that deep inside the person can be stable, they can be reliable, responsible, they can be cautious and overall reasonable. These are some of the typical earth qualities. But how will they behave, let's say, if the moon is in a fire sign? The moon in a fire sign in this case will kind of accelerate things. It might exaggerate things. And on the outside, things may look much more dramatic or kind of more intense than they actually are. And we are not talking about some kind of, fake behavior or something like that. Those are just different parts of us. One thing is who we are deep inside, our core identity. The other thing, the moon, it's how we connect with other people and the outer environment. So keep in mind that the sun and the moon are always affecting each other. You should always look at them as a combination. And also you should be able to make the difference, which is part of the behavior of the person and which is part of his core identity. And this also explains why sometimes you can meet a new person and after a while you understand that, let's say, their sun is in Leo and you are wondering, oh my gosh, this person has nothing to do with what I know about Leo. How come this happens? Well, one of the reasons might be that their moon is in Capricorn. The ascendant may also play some role, but if there is a general difference between the energy of the sun and the moon, then at first you are gonna see the moon. So you are gonna see this Capricorn moon, cautious, a little distant person, probably very serious, also very reliable. You won't necessarily see the Leo sun core identity, which is about being playful, about demonstrating things, attracting attention, and all the other amazing Leo qualities we know. So always keep that in mind. We see different parts of the person at first. We don't necessarily see their core identity and also what's happening deep inside. That's why astrology is so helpful, because it really allows us to understand the person, his motivation, his behavior, why is he doing something, what he really needs. And this is kind of the basic step that you can take in just a couple of minutes to try to see how the sun and the moon can work together, their signs, and also is there harmony. Overall, even if you see that the sun and the moon are in the same polarity signs, this would be the case if, let's say, both the sun and the moon are in masculine signs. Those are fire and air. There is also more balance in this case. Or if both of the sun and the moon are in feminine signs, water and earth. Those are also more balanced, kind of easier to navigate cases. But if we have some mixtures, the sun in a masculine sign, the moon in a feminine sign, or the other way around, it makes things more complicated, and it also shows that the person may demonstrate one thing, or we may see one thing from the outside, but what's going on inside of them, or who they really are in their core could be something completely different, and it takes more time to get there. It doesn't mean that we never ever see the sun of the person. Of course, this is not true, but overall it takes more time before we can get there. So I hope you will use this information to make more accurate interpretations, and let me know in the comments what have you found for yourself. Don't forget that if you want to learn astrology on a really high advanced level, you're welcome to sign up for the waitlist for MarStars Astrology Academy. We open the doors for enrollment only once a year, so make sure to sign up for the waitlist. There is also a free webinar which I told you about. Check the links below, go watch it. You will learn more things about the elements and also how you can create a psychological profile using astrology. Thank you so much. Let me know in the comments your findings and your conclusions, and I will see you really soon.